Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the White River Buddhist Temple virtual Sunday service. My name is Tessa Asado, and I will be chairing this morning's service. We appreciate you joining us this morning, wherever you are tuning in from. Throughout the service, we encourage you to engage in the chat with the other attendees and let us know where you're watching from. We want to remind our viewers that we are continuing to work through some technical aspects of streaming for the next couple of months, so please bear with us as we adjust. With that being said, let's get started. Please Gasho for opening meditation. Just as rain falls on all vegetation, so Buddha's compassion extends equally to all people. But just as different plants receive particular benefits from the same rain, so people of different nature and circumstances are blessed by different methods. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Namanda. This morning, we will chant Jusei Ge led by Reverend Warwick.
Dragon Chosegan, Ishifujodo, Shigan Humanzo, Seifujo Shoga, Gao Muryoko, Uidai Seishu, Usai Shobingu, Seifujo Shoga, Gashijo Buddho, Myosho Chojipo, Kukyo Mishomon, Seifujo Shoga, Ryokujin Shonen, Yo Eishu Bongyo, Shigu Mujodo, Isho Tenin Shi, Jinriki Endaiko, Fusho Musaido, Shoujo Sankumyo, Kosai Shuyakunan, Kaihichi Egen, Meshi Komo An, 閉塞小悪道、通達全宗門、高僧上満足、異様老寺法、日願中重期、天候音符言、一周解放像、公正空読法、両大集中、説法四式空用一切分、具足修徳本、元年新上満、徳意三概要、女分無芸地、通達未不詳、願学営利、教師最小尊、志願な効果、大戦無感動、国書天に、とうち妙慶、ナマンダム、ナマンダム、ナマンダム、ナマンダム、ナマンダム、ナマンダム、ガンニシクドク、両領聖祭、どんぼ大神、お嬢、Namanda, Namanda, 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 Namanda.
At this time, please join me in the reading of the three treasures. The reading will be displayed on your screen. The three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be free from the suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I put my faith in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves thy supreme will. I put my faith in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I put my faith in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in thy life of harmony in a spirit of universal brotherhood, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namada, namada. Thank you. Now I'd like to welcome Reverend Warwick, who will give today's Dharma message.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our virtual service today, and thank you for joining us. Please join me in Gassho for a reading from Dharmakara's 33rd vow. When I attained Buddhahood, the sentient beings throughout the countless incalculable Buddha realms of the 10 quarters upon receiving my light and having their bodies touched by it, shall become soft and gentle in body and mind, thereby surpassing other men and devas. If it not be so, may I not attain supreme enlightenment. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida, Namo Amida. You know, lately there seems to be a lot of unhappiness these days with the pandemic, the raw politics, the social unrest, and the rioting in our cities. So I was looking over the internet and I saw a headline that said, 2020 needs more joy. So I thought I would try to find some happy stories to share with you today. And here's one I especially like. As I read on or tell you about it, you'll see why I like this one, especially now. It's about a study that's conducted in the University of Finland, and they found that the functional ability of older people is nowadays better than that compared to the people of the same age 3 decades ago, about 30 years ago. In other words, those born at the beginning of the 20th century, let's say around 30 years ago. The study compared the physical and cognitive performance of people between the ages of 75 and 80 with that same group back in the 1990s. In other words, the group that was born in the early 20th century to the current 75-year-olds. And among women and men between those ages, muscle strength, walking speed, reaction time, verbal fluency, reasoning, everything, working memory, significantly improved over those people who were born 30 years earlier. And they think this might be, according to various changes, the changes being better nutrition, hygiene, healthcare, better school system, better accessibility to education. And since I fall in that category of the currently 75 to 80-year-olds, that's why this is a happy story for me. And I hope if you're listening and you fall into that category, you'll be pleased to hear that as well. So here's another one. It's a short little story I found on the internet. It said an elderly man who was down in Lake Charles, Louisiana, a couple of 100 miles from where I used to live. The place was hit by Hurricane Laura, the most recent hurricane. This thing was really hit a lot of people hard. A lot of folks had no electricity or no running water. And so this person was out there and he was hauling away some of the debris from his front yard. So a SUV stopped up right in front of him, and a woman hopped out, said, "Good morning, how are you doing? Really messed here, and the place looks really bad." And but she was originally from that area, so she told him about it. And she says now she lives in Arizona. And as she left, she wished the man well and handed him an envelope. And inside the envelope was a greeting card and a $50 bill. Handwritten note says, "A little something from your friends in Arizona. Bless you." And the man that was telling this story, he said, "The bad thing is I didn't even get her name." He said, I didn't have an opportunity to thank her or anything. So this is just an example of, in Buddhism, what we call dana, selfless giving. The poor fellow says he plans to fix his pump on his well so that he can have water after the devastation of the hurricane. But a couple of days ago, and I think this is one of the reasons I wanted to tell this story, is because there's happiness all around us if you can find it. A couple of days ago, a happy story was kind of staring me in the face, and I really didn't realize it was going on, although I was a part of it, I guess. One of our neighbors, Russian Orthodox pastor, had been reassigned to a larger church in Denver, Colorado. And he and his families will be moving there permanently. He and his children are very much loved in our neighborhood. The day before they left, which was just about 3 days ago, all the neighbors got together, of course, social distancing, to bid the the folks farewell. One of the neighbors presented him and family with a nice card and some traveling cash collected from all the neighbors in the neighborhood to help them out on their journey. And I thought that was a very kind thing for everyone to do and help those folks out. And that's a happy thought. So here's another happy story from Buddhism, one that happened a long time ago. Once a long time ago, there lived in the forest a monastery group of about 500 monks or so, and they were to receive a visit from the king. When the king came to visit, he paid his respects to the chief monk, and in turn the monks paid their respects. But there was one of the monks that just kept saying, what happiness? Oh, what I'm so happy. What happiness? Oh, great happiness. He didn't even stop to greet the king and show his proper respect. And kind of this kind of disturbed the king, and he thought, with all my worries, as busy as I am looking after the kingdom, I take the time out to come and visit these monks, and this monk doesn't even respect me enough to recognize me. And it's very insulting. And he said to the senior of the two monks that were there with him, he said, "Sir, this monk must be stupid from overeating. That must be why he is so full of happiness. Does he lie around here and be lazy all the time?" And the other monk, the head monk, replied, "No, king, have patience and I will tell you the source of his happiness. Not many know it, but he was once a king just like you, very mighty, very, very powerful. Then he became an ordained monk and gave up everything he owned. Now he thinks his old happiness as a king was absolutely nothing compared to the happiness he feels now and the present joy of just being alive and being in the monastic tradition after discovering Buddhism. He used to be surrounded by armed men that guarded him day and night. Now, sitting alone in the forest, he's got absolutely nothing to fear. He doesn't need any armed guards. He's given up the burden of worrying about wealth that has to be perfected. Now he's not worried about wealth anymore. His advances in meditation to such inner peace that he can't help it but just go around saying, "Oh, how happy I am. Oh, how happy." And the king really understood because, hearing that story made him feel at peace, made him feel that through the Buddhist teachings, he too might be able to achieve this type of happiness. So he felt very good and he returned to the palace. Later, they said the happy monk who had once been a king, after the senior monk died, he became the leader of the monastery. And I guess in this type of story, I should say everyone lived happily ever after. But the moral of this story is, unattached to wealth and power, your happiness will increase. I think unattached to most anything in the Buddhist way of looking at attachment, our happiness will increase if we become unattached to all this stuff that's going on around us right now. So with that, to conclude my Dharma message today, another statement from Dharmakara. Please join me in Gassho. There will be none among devas, human beings, and even insects that fly, crawl, or creep, who upon hearing my name fails to awaken a heart of compassion. Dancing with joy, they will be enabled to come and be born in my land. When I attain Buddhahood, the sentient beings throughout the countless, incalculable Buddha realms of the 10 quarters, upon receiving my light and having their bodies touched by it, shall become soft and gentle in body and mind, thereby surpassing other men and devas. If this not be so, may I not attain supreme enlightenment. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida. Thank you for joining us today and listening to my Dharma message. I hope you have a pleasant week and you and your family and friends are safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Ward, for that message. At this time, we will be reading the Jodo Shinshu Creed together. The words will be displayed on the screen. Please follow along. Entrusting the vow of the Buddha and reciting the sacred name, I shall proceed through the journey of life with strength and joy. Revering the light of the Buddha, reflecting upon my imperfect self, I shall strive to live a life of gratitude. Following the teachings of the Buddha, discerning the right path, I shall spread the true Dharma. Rejoicing in the compassion of the Buddha, respecting and aiding one another. I shall do my best to work towards the welfare of society. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. All right, where am I? Thank you. At White River, our Sangha members lend their many talents to making our temple run and the enjoyment of others. Today, we are fortunate to have a musical recording of A Special Place performed by Donald and Judy Gardner. Please join us in singing along as the words will be displayed on your screen.
There is a square upon the floor, an island in the sea, a place I visit every week, a spot that's just for me. When I sit upon that square, I leave my cares outside. All anger is forgotten. The Dharma is my guide. There is a special something here, is something you can see. For kindness lives within this place, it lives inside of me. Amida stands inside the shrine, a smile upon his face. I smile right back, I'm glad to be here in this special place. Now there's time to sit and think of all that I can do to care for those around me each day, the whole week through. This is a home to gentle thoughts when sitting quietly. For kindness lives within this place, it lives inside of me. It lives inside of me.
All right. Thank you, Don and Judy, for that lovely piece. We appreciate your musical talents. Before we end today's service, I'd like to make a couple of announcements. As a friendly reminder, in-person temple operations remain suspended indefinitely. Your safety is our top concern, and we're working hard to find virtual opportunities to engage our Sangha. Our next virtual service will take place on next Sunday, October 4th at 10:30 a.m. as our October Shotsuki Hoyo service. Please join us online at www.wrbt.org/service or on our YouTube page. More information will be sent before the service in an email. Before every service, we will hold Socializing with the Sangha, a Zoom meetup for Sangha members to see each other, catch up, and discuss the Dharma. Socializing the Sangha will take place at 10:10 a.m. before each virtual service. The link will be sent via email prior to the service. Please join us. Finally, if you don't already, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and our website for the latest information. Those are all the announcements. At this time, please Gasho for closing meditation. Open the eyes of mind and break through the darkness of ignorance and close the roads of all evil. Then unto the land of purity we will be led. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. I want to thank Reverend Warwick, Rona for helping set up, Don and Judy for the music, Kelsey, who is moderating the temple watch party, and Kendall, who is managing the IT for making today's service possible. And thank you for joining our virtual service today. We hope that you enjoyed it and appreciate you joining us from wherever you are. We hope you will join us again. Stay safe.